Oh, my God. Is it my turn already? I'm James Parker. It's The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP. Now on FM at 93.3. Yeah, let's go. You know, it's a Tuesday. I'm not real excited about this Tuesday over a regular day, but I can look at the news and say, oh, man, this is so nice not being on fire. You know how nice that is? You know how nice it is when your house isn't like sending flames up in the air and everything you own isn't just in a heap of ashes. A couple updates before we get to my first guest, James Varney from Real Clear Politics. We are going to have the James Show first birthday party. Shaw's in Fort Worth. You people who are asking for a meetup in Fort Worth? Okay, cool. And I'm giving it a birthday theme. This is not a scam to get presents. Do not bring presents for me or anybody else. Just spend a bunch of money at Shaw's. And for a reminder, this is why we tell you to follow us on Facebook, the WBAP Facebook page. Or you can follow James Parker's Facebook page or whatever you're on, X, Instagram, whatever. So you get reminders and whatnot. So go follow. If you have any interest, go into Shaw's. That's a Tuesday, January 28th. Just a meet and greet after the show. So around 7-ish. You don't have to get there at 7. You can get there at 9. In fact, that'd probably be more convenient. So the early people flush out. Anyway, more info on that. Follow me on social media. My first guest, though, James Varney, is coming back on from Real Clear Politics. And I want to go right into the fires here because natural disasters are not supposed to be political, Varney. But like so many of them lately, and it's pretty much every natural disaster since Katrina, I think, people have tried to put a political noose on it. How much does politics actually play into this one, you think?
Well, I think it's played a role, to be sure. I mean, the politics that you're talking about, like Katrina, of course, was used as a noose to hang George W. Bush. This one, at least the people, most of the people in my profession are working as hard as they can to sort of cushion, I think, a lot of the leadership out in California because they're simpatico with them politically. But, you know, if you compare the sort of fire prevention policies in states, and admittedly, California has got more concern with fires than many states. But if you look at that, you'll see that I think there are clear-cut and sound common sense moves that can be made that California hasn't. And to some extent, I think it's even ignoring the will of the people, right? It's not just that they voted for bad people. It's that those people didn't do what the people that are out there, the residents that are living out there, wanted them to do. You know, when you read about things that they had passed in terms of the water management, that nothing's been done, all of those things, I think, point to political failures.
Well, you know, we had 2 years ago in 2023, I remember covering some large wildfires that ran out of control in Texas, mostly the Panhandle area. And that was 2 years ago. Clearly, red leadership there. Team red leadership is what I mean, at the state and local and county levels. So, you know, sometimes I think there's a legit criticism for when you run out of water and whatnot. But I don't think even that would have made too big of a difference. Sometimes natural disasters just happen.
Well, that's definitely true, right? And it does need to be stressed that it's a myth, to put it politely, that we're having more natural disasters than we did before because of climate change. If you look at hurricanes here in New Orleans, a big concern. If you look at those, it isn't true that we've been getting more and worse hurricanes. I don't know that it's even true of California. I've been reading some things that say that before we were even there, meaning people, California would burn, you know, consistently and regularly. Like I said a moment ago, California is a state that needs to worry about fires more than most. So you're right. Things are going to happen. And I don't think that I'm certainly not arguing that this could have necessarily been prevented. I'm just saying that I think the scale of it has probably been magnified by some political failures.
Well, and then
bad luck, you know.
Another branch on this tree is that here in Texas, we are sending firefighting resources, a whole bunch of crews to California to help out. And we've done that before, sent, you know, crews to other big wildfires. Mm-hmm. But there were some people that were making the point that California didn't send crews to Texas 2 years ago when we had out of control fires that were much bigger in size. not necessarily in the amount of houses and the millions and millions of dollars of damage. But yeah, our acreage was bigger. And I don't remember them sending firefighting resources to us. Now, I didn't look that up. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. But man, political polarization just hits everything these days.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I would think that provided it doesn't leave you guys completely naked and uncovered from any fire protection, I don't think this is a time that we should be pointing fingers like that. I think it's great that guys are going to help. I mean, you remember in Katrina, less than a week after Katrina hit, I was talking on the bridge that goes over St. Claude into the lower Ninth Ward, and I'm looking and I'm talking to a Chicago police lieutenant, and in the boat, in the water below me, it's the Los Angeles County Swiftwater Rescue Team. And I thought, this is just absurd, amazing, great.
Oh, well, over here in Dallas when that was happening, we had the old Reunion Arena. The AAC had already opened up. So we were like, we have a whole stadium here that's not being used. And we filled that sucker up with people from New Orleans.
Right. And I think that, when something terrible like this happens, I think it's great to see that people are pulling, and I think I agree with you that it's petty and counterproductive to sit around and go, well, they didn't do. I mean, we're not in high school here. This is a tragic thing that's happening, and people need help. So,
all right, Varney, promote what you got going on. I got to run.
Okay, I should have a story coming up in the next couple of days about just exactly what Trump's drill baby drill energy policy might look like in practice. And probably be taking another look like the one I did at the end of November about the situation in North Carolina. I think it'll be interesting to see how FEMA is going to be able to handle what's going on in California, given what's happened in North Carolina. And I don't know that that's going all that smoothly.
No, my goodness, no kidding. All right, well, I'll look forward to that. This is James Varney. Find his work, Real Clear Politics and RealClearInvestigations.com. Coming up, I'm going to ask you the same questions. Are you okay with us sending firefighting equipment to California? Because actually, I'm not okay with sending it over there for free. Oh, we'll go help out. We'll send crews. We'll send every extra fireman and fire truck we got, and maybe even bring some water with us. But we're going to send you a bill when we're done. I'm not just floating our neighbors over there. Is that wrong? Is that too harsh? Or, this is them in their time of need. Why are you taking advantage of them and adding additional costs? Where do you land on that? Where do you land on sending Texas resources to fight the wildfires in California? And does it matter if they did or didn't? Because I don't think they did. I don't remember them sending resources to help us fight the wildfires in 2023 when we had the big drought. And 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. I am your host, James Parker. Texas sends firefighting crews to California. Well, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with helping them with a couple caveats in here. Number one, who's getting the bill? Am I getting stuck with this bill? Are you getting stuck with this bill? Because I don't like that. If California's going to pay their own bill, I'm cool with that. If they're going to make the federal government say, well, we'll cover all the costs. You know how Biden came into after the Helene aftermath. Hey, we're covering the cost of all this. Well, if this is going to be covered by the cost of the federal taxpayer, I'm not sure I'm happy with that. Why does the poor people of Vermont have to be on the hook for mismanagement of wildfires in California? And really, I think one of the determining factors is how often is this going to happen? Is this like a once in a generation thing? Is this a once in a lifetime thing? Because if that's the case, all right, whatever. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to get worked up about it. If this is going to be something that happens every year or every other year, we need to sit down and have a talk. What do you think? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. This has been way out in Eastland. You're on the James Show. What do you think, Ben?
Hey, yes, sir, James. I used to work for a fire department that was part of TIFMAS, which is the crews that we sent over there.
What does that stand for? You said TIFMAS?
TIFMAS, TIFMAS. It's Texas Intrastate Fire Mutual Aid System.
Okay.
And so
TIFMAS.
basically, yeah. So all over the state, we can move resources used for the fires out here in West Texas that we've had recently, a couple years ago, and all of that. But so what will happen is, say, Dallas Fire is the one closest to y'all that sent somebody. So if Dallas Fire sends their guys, Dallas Fire is going to pay their guys their paychecks. The city of Dallas is going to then bill the state for reimbursement for the guys' paychecks. And then the state will turn around and either bill California or the federal government. I'm not sure which one it actually goes to.
Interesting. Who pays for the gas?
Well, it will come out of the city budget just like normal operations, but then the city will bill the state for all of that and get reimbursed for every bit of it. Now, the state, being that TIFMAS is an intrastate thing, I don't know where it goes after the state. I'm sure the state will either bill the federal government or California to get that money back. But how it was set up originally was it was an intrastate mutual aid system. So it is uncommon for us to go to California or Arizona, but it's not the first time that it's happened. So
how often do you think we send people to California?
This is the second time that I know of. The other time that I know of was back in 2018. Now, there might be times before I retired in 2021, so I don't know of any other times since then.
So once every 8 years, I can stomach that. I'm okay with that. Even if we get stuck with the tax bill, I mean, I think morally, ethically, it should be paid for by the people of California, but I'm not going to make that big of a fuss. All right.
I agree 100%.
What else do I not know about this?
Oh, well, I told you all I know.
All right. Sounds like you're out of gas. I'll go to the next caller. Thank you, Ben in Eastland.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
James in Garland, you're on WBAP. What do you think, sir?
Well, Mr. James, I think that it should not happen. I thought about this. And every Democrat, because you said Vermont, every Democrat should pay for it. Because us Republicans, we have tried and tried and tried, keep turning the cheek, trying to do the right thing, and they don't want to listen because, we got to take care of that smelt. So, you know what? They want to take care of the smelt, that's fine. Then every Democrat that voted for all that crap needs to take care of that crap.
Well, there's some Republicans in there that got their house burnt down.
Yeah, well, those Republicans probably have insurance.
Well, I mean, a lot of them don't. And so that morally speaking, they don't deserve to be on the wrong end of those policies. And it's not like it's an insignificant fraction. I mean, California's about 40% red.
Yeah, you get outside of all of the coast, and it's all of a sudden the other color. And I know because I've got family up in red.
I hear you.
But it's very frustrating that our insurances all are going to go up again because of failures by the leadership. And Donald Trump said it 4 years ago. Do this and take care of it.
Well, look, I can hear the sort of not just emotion, but resentment. And that comes from these are the people that spend most of their time calling us racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe. They think we're terrible people.
You're dead on.
But we've got to be bigger than that. We've got to be bigger. We've got to be the more mature ones.
I know, but when do you start turning the other cheek?
No, we don't turn the other cheek. We bill them. We bill them 100% for everything we spend over there. And if we buy a Snickers while we're on the way, that they're going to get billed for every little expense we had. This isn't going to be charity. This isn't going to be a giveaway. We're just not going to. We're not going to treat them like they treat us. All right, I'm going to take some more calls. I got a couple more good ones. I know. It's not fun being mature. That's why I'm so bad at it. John in Plano, you're next up on WBAP. What do you think we should do?
Hey, sir, how you doing today?
I'm fantastic.
Hey, I just think it's probably an 80-20. State should cover 80 and Fed should cover 20.
Where'd you come up with that number? Just sounds good?
I don't know if it's really economics. And again, I'm not a politician, but I think if you care about your state, citizen, politician, own a company or whatever, when people start paying out of their pockets state's responsibility, then you hurt their pocketbooks, then they're going to start caring about the management leadership that's running the state. Meaning that, if you grow up in Texas or you grow up in California, and I lived in California for a long time as well, but when it starts coming out of your pocketbook and you care about what's around you and you're not, dependent.
Right, but that's why I say make them pay 100%. Make the California taxpayers cover that. Because it's not just going to come out of their backside. The poor politicians aren't going to have as much money to throw around, too, so it's punishing them as well.
Yeah, you're probably right. Had a wild card question for you, though.
Real quick.
What about Hawaii? How was that handled when Maui burned?
I don't know.
Who picked up the bill on that?
I don't know if anyone did pick up I think they just let it burn and they went back and they're on their own. I don't think Because did we send fire? We didn't send firefighters. Did other people send resources there? I don't think there was like a bill from outside states sending stuff in. A lot of good questions there. I don't think there was a bill like this. Not sure though. Dang it. All right, stay with us. Coming up next, we're going to get you all caught up on the economy with Spencer McGowan from Net Worth Radio, our weekend financial show here on WBAP. Find out what's happening with your pocketbook next on The James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Sports fans, James Parker here for the Prize Picks app. Let me tell you a little secret of the pros here. I got a little saucy because, now that my team's out, the Dallas team is not in the playoffs. I have kind of a cursory knowledge of the rest of the teams. And so I did something. You can make a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you just look at a stat, pick more or less on what you think they're going to do concerning that stat. So I made 6, but I did a flex play, which means all 6 of my picks didn't have to be correct. I only got 4 right, and I still managed to scrape a little money out of that. So 4 out of 6. They make it real hard to lose over there, so go check it out. If you're already paying attention to sports, you're already a sports fan, you may love it a little bit more when you add Prize Picks. Download it now. With your first $5 play, use my promo code. Help me keep this job, WBAP. And you get $50 of promo cash to play with that you can turn into real money and then withdraw and then spend. Download the Prize Picks app. Promo code WBAP gets you $50 with your first $5 play. I'm James Parker. Go check out Prize Picks and run your game. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. You guys on hold, hang on, I'll get to you. We're taking calls here about the situation going on in California. We're sending wildfire crews over there, and I like helping them all out. I just want to make sure that we send them the bill with it. This isn't some charitable handout, and this isn't something that the bill is going to be passed along. The federal government's just going to swoop in and pay for it. I think people should bear the negative consequences of their own actions as much as possible. Let's limit the damage it's going to have to the innocent guy on the ground in something Palisades. But what do you think about that? 800-288-9227. My next guest is also going to help us fill out some of the questions like, what are the financial lessons of the California wildfires? You hear him on the weekends here on Net Worth Radio. It's Spencer McGowan back on the James Show. Welcome, Spencer.
Thank you, Mr. Parker.
Well, I know what you're going to say. You're a financial advisor. I've heard your show plenty of times. You're going to say this is the whole point of an emergency fund, aren't you, Spencer?
Well, the costs are estimated now at $150 billion, according to FEMA.
You there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just saying it's $150 billion. That's what FEMA said. So that's huge. And that's inflationary. Wallboard, construction costs. It's gonna drive up inflation.
Oh, absolutely. So when you're setting up people's budgets or financial situations around here, how much do you recommend people set aside for emergencies like this wildfire?
Oh, if you have 3 months in reserve, you could go stay in a hotel for a while, right? 3 months of your expenses. That's about what needs to be in the checking.
Your advice is good. Your connection is bad, though. Is there something going on with your access? Can you disconnect and reconnect real quick and see if we get a better connection?
How's this? Is this better?
It's still, there's some digital garbles in there.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Understandable. Yeah. So when you see something that's happened like 4 states away, it's very compelling to see the video and to see people's houses go up like this. But for a few of you out there, you know what it's like to have your house burned down. My parents' house burned down in 2020. And I'm not trying to be a jerk about this, but here's one of the first lessons you learn. It really wasn't that important anyway. It was just stuff. It was a bunch of sticks. It was a bunch of bricks. Well, in my case, it was a log cabin. But it was my childhood home. And it was nice. I remember the time I had with it. It'd be nice if I had it now, but life goes on. The important part is your family okay? Did you save your pets? And the question is your house ruined? Are you going to be ruined because this happened? Do you have proper insurance? Do you have emergency plans? Are you going to be okay? Forget the house. It's already done. Are you going to be okay? Spencer, you back?
How's this? Is this better?
Nah, we're still doing the garbles. I appreciate the attempt, Spencer.
I'll call in, buddy.
Okay, we just have some connection issues. Well, let's go to the phones then. Chris and Keller, you're on WBAP. What do you think about the California wildfire help?
Yeah, I don't mind sending them the bill. I think that's probably correct. But if anybody says that this fire wasn't preventable, then they don't know California.
Well, I mean define
there's
preventable, because there's always going to be fires that happen. I think, did it have to be this bad is the legit criticism.
Correct. There's an old mantra. I grew up in Northern California. There's an old mantra. It's called, it burns, it rains, it slides. Because they don't manage any of the property. There's all this underbrush, the slightest little sparkle light, the whole thing on fire. And then you lose all the root structure. So then when it rains with El Nino, all the mudslides. That's all the mudslides in San Diego. Up in Santa Cruz.
Well,
I mean, this happens every 5 years. Every 5 years.
Right.
And
so
if they would just clear the underbrush.
I remember my entire life, every once in a while, Southern California catches on fire. However, when they were giving an example of a one real bad one in the 90s where 700 homes burned. Well, we're over 10,000 homes burned. So clearly it's not just fires will always happen. Clearly somebody's doing something wrong that they haven't done in years past, because I don't remember one being this bad.
Well, it wasn't 10,000 homes. It's 10,000 structures, which includes cards and outbuildings and everything else. It's only 2,000 or 3,000 homes.
Oh, okay. That's way better. Way better. All right.
Yeah, it's still horrible. And the other thing is, if you find somebody with a fireball and he's lighting stuff on fire, you shouldn't release him, because they did arrest somebody and then let him go and then said, oh, this is arson. It's like, well, the guy had a flamethrower or whatever, a blowtorch.
Well, if they're going to be that dumb, that makes me not want to send help in the first place.
Exactly.
All right, Chris. Thank you very much. I'm going to go back to Spencer. Spencer called on the old-fashioned telephone.
On the telephone, buddy.
All right. So just repeat real quick. You recommend 3 months of what would normally be your income for an emergency fund?
Yeah, that needs to be in cash. And, once you get your checking account up to 3 months, you might want to stash some real cash.
Explain that.
Well, put it in the safe at the house. Ideally.
Oh, you mean physical cash? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like cash.
All right. Spencer McGowan, this also makes me think you're a financial advisor. I bet you see this and say, this is why I talk to you about insurance so much, having your proper insurance, keeping up with them, not letting them lapse, being with the right company.
Well, the insurance, wow, it's skyrocketed. Like auto, home, right? And health insurance, that cost has been an amazing inflation. And I don't think it makes it into the CPI figure, by the way. And it's got everybody stretched, with the insurance costs going up. But, then you probably need it until you've got a big enough pile that you don't, right?
Right on. Spencer McGowan, y'all going to talk about some of this stuff this weekend?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and we'll talk about why the job growth, the great jobs number, 256,000 net new jobs, the Dow goes down 700 points. Like that was bad news.
Good news is bad news, because they're looking at the Federal Reserve rate, I imagine, right?
Yeah, well, they're worried that the Fed's actually not going to cut the 2 times they said. They were going to cut 4. And so, we're kind of in a stealth bear market. You're down about 6% from the peak, the post-election high. Everybody's excited about deregulation, profits, productivity, lower inflation, but it's not here yet. So you're kind of in a stealth bear market for right now.
All right. Spencer McGowan, Net Worth Radio. I appreciate your financial insights on the James Show. Find him at networthradio.com or weekends right here on WBAP. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, James.
All right. If you want to call in, let me hear what you think, what we should do in response to the California wildfires. We're sending crews over there. Do we send California the bill? Is that okay if the feds cover the bill? Should we just be doing this out of the goodness of our hearts? Or is the incompetence too much that we shouldn't be sending a whole lot over there because we want them to learn their lesson? I mean, this sounds a little harsh. That's what some people are saying. If you want to call in, you can, you'll be after Rob in Waco. Get in line. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. You got any opinions on us sending firefighting resources to California? And by us, I mean Texas, the taxpayers. You're sending it. You're paying for it. I'm paying for it. But Rob in Waco's paying for it. And if you want to be after Rob, 800-288-9227. Rob in Waco, what do you think about us sending resources over there?
Man, I have a hard time with that, being that they had money already appropriated, allocated to use for reservoirs, and for whatever reason, they didn't do it. Now, look what happened. Number two, they let go of hundreds of firemen, which is crazy. And my last thing that I wanted to say, sir, is this. Mama always said, never complain without bringing a suggestion. I suggest they call Israel. Israel has a way where they can pump the water out of the ocean, clean it, because you can't use ocean water just on regular land and stuff. But they are able to clean it and then use it for fires, and actually they use it for crops up there in Israel. So if Israel can do it, California needs to get with the program.
Well, in the meantime, we have people who are losing everything. Look, what if we did this? What if we sent the resources over there and then we sent them a bill, not just to cover our costs, but like cover our costs with a little bit of profit for the Texas taxpayers?
Well, that would be, in a perfect world, that would be good, because, there's costs incurred that you're not going to know about until after the fact. Well, but when it comes down to it, I mean,
it can be like when you go to one of these restaurants downtown. We'll just put in the line item, there's like an automatic gratuity of 20% on whatever we spent to put out their fire. And so that would be a net positive for us.
It is California. We could do 35%. They're used to it.
I like the way you think. It's a good attitude. All right. Thank you, Rob, all the way down in Waco. Appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
Kevin, North Richland Hills, you're on the James Show. What do you think about us sending firefighting resources to California?
I think we need a little bird.
No, we can't do that. That's kind of cold.
No, I understand, but they were warned a long time ago about the underbrush, okay? And if we bail them out, who's going to be paying for that? It's not California. It's federal government.
Well, and that's part of the exercise here. If we can send them the bill, wouldn't that make it, morally acceptable?
No. The reason being is because who's going to be paying for that through the federal government? We are.
No, not through the federal government. If they had to pay for it at the state level in California.
You're playing the if game, okay? That will never go through. You know it as well as I do, and so do all your listeners. It's going to come from the taxpayers, from the federal government.
No. Well, okay, but if it came from the taxpayers of the state of California, then you would still be concentrating the negative consequences on the bad leadership and bad decisions their bad leaders made on the people who chose the bad leaders.
Okay, let me reflect on what you said about Hawaii before.
Okay.
And the thing is if we withheld the emergency funds and everything, would that get Gavin Newsom and all the bad people out of the politics? Would it expedite that? I believe it would, because the people have had enough is enough. And you heard about DiCaprio getting on his private jet and leaving California and going to Mexico to get away from the fires.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Okay, all right.
How evil are these people? Yeah, I hear you.
I think I made my point.
You did.
Remember about Hawaii and about where this money is actually going to come from. It's the taxpayers.
All right.
And we don't need any more taxing on the hardworking people and the retired people in the United States.
All right. Well, you're a hard man, but that doesn't mean you're wrong. I appreciate it, Kevin. Good call.
All right. Later.
Thank you, sir. Can I squeeze in one more? Do I have permission, Garrett? Hayden in Arlington, you're next up on the James Show. What do you think we should do?
So I agree on sending some form of resources to help them out, right? But in a sense of reciprocity, because, I feel like whenever we have a devastation of the same magnitude or worse, that we get a lot less help from other states as we're willing to provide. I feel like we're giving it too soon and we're not getting adequately.
Well, I don't know if you're right or wrong. I get that feeling too, but I would like to see the T-chart on how often are we sending resources outside of our state and how often are we, getting help from outside the state. Because if it is like an unholy alliance that we're a part of here, that would be a good part of a nice piece of information to know before you made a final judgment on that one, Hayden.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well, I also like the idea. Send them a bill. Maybe we get a little bit of a tip on it, or maybe, we can say, Yeah, I'm going to send these fire trucks, and when they get to the state line, what do you think of this, Hayden? When they get to the line where I-10 crosses from Arizona into California, we all stop our trucks, and the guy that's in the front holds out a piece of paper. He's like, hey, you remember that travel ban you had on your state officials to Texas? This is going to repeal that, okay? You can stop acting like we're Nazis and just beneath doing business with when it comes to this. Can we stop pretending like we're evil now? Thank you very much. See, we're solving some problems over here. Got some help from Hayden, got some help from Rob, got help from, who was that other guy? Ken, the hard guy? 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Texas sends firefighting crews to California. Should California get the bill? Should we charge them a little bit of extra and make this a little sweet? 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Well, hey there, all you beautiful Texans. Welcome back to the James Show. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Welcome to the big show. Man, I thought the fire would be out by now. This really is some unprecedented burns we have going on for our neighbors over in Southern California. You know, it's not strange to see, oh, there's a wildfire, Santa Ana winds. Yeah, we've all heard of that before. But far more houses have gone up. Far more people have had their lives ruined in this one than many of the ones that we're used to. Now, we're sending resources over there, and some people are concerned, well, we shouldn't just be sending resources over there at the taxpayer of Texas expense. Some people were saying we should be reimbursed by California. Some people were saying it's okay if the feds reimburse us. I say no. California should reimburse us. And if you have a problem with it, then how about California reimburses us with like a 20% tip? How about that? What does an agent get? What does a manager get? 10%, 15%? What was that on Moneyball or something? Or Jerry Maguire. That's what I was trying to think of. Let's ask workplace expert Betsy Allen Manning. She's coming back on the James Show. And I know there's not like a rule of etiquette or really a precedent for, when is it okay to send firefighting assistance? But, you seem like a good person to talk to in such times.
Yeah, well, they need some assistance right now. You hit the nail on the head right there. Is they're lacking what they need in order to get this fire put out and get it done. And, man, when disaster strikes, leadership is tested in ways that reveal their character, competence, commitment, and these California fires have not only exposed critical gaps in disaster response, but also the pitfalls of playing the blame game instead of stepping up to lead, which they should be doing.
Well, that's part of what feels so childish about the response is we haven't got a microphone in front of anybody who's like, oh, that's on me. Gavin Newsom hasn't taken responsibility. Karen Bass hasn't taken responsibility. The LAFD fire chief doesn't take responsibility. They're all pointing fingers at each other like the three Spider-Man meme. And I find that to be pretty disappointing.
It is. And the first rule of leadership is crisis accountability. Own the crisis. Leaders don't have the luxury of playing the blame game. And you're right. None of them have stepped up to take the responsibility, rally their teams, and focus on solutions, not scapegoats, which is what they're doing in this moment. They're deflecting blame and fueling the chaos.
Well, if you do something like, here's my thought on this. If you do something like this at work, you do a big boo-boo, you may think it's beneficial to you to put that blame on someone else, but it's become such a rare thing in our society. I think it makes you look so good to be the one person in the room that says, no, look, that's my responsibility. That one's on me.
And not only that, it's going to build trust as well. According to our workplace trend study, 57% of employees lose trust in leaders who lack transparency and accountability. So businesses can learn a big lesson from the California wildfire crisis. Your employees and stakeholders need direction, not deflection.
Well, and if you do something public, your customers would like to hear you say, oh, yeah, I goofed up, but here's what we did to fix it.
Exactly. They want to know that you're focusing on the solution. They want to know that you actually care. Empathy, I feel like there's a lack of empathy right now from the leaders, from the governor, from the mayor. Where is the empathy for the people?
Right. And, you help people with their leadership training roles. And I think that's a key component is to be the guy that says the buck stops here. This one's on me. And, I've read, how many books have we've seen this in, How to Win Friends and Influence People. What is that from like the 30s?
Dale Carnegie. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back. It's one of the basic core tenets and classical leadership training. And apparently no one's gotten that in the region of the firefights.
No, they've completely forgotten about that altogether. The communication has gone out the window, and communication extinguishes panic, which is what is happening right now. It's your superpower during a crisis. So being clear, consistent, giving actionable messages, that is the difference between order and chaos during these times. And 57% of employees say transparent communication is a high priority in order for them to stay aligned and focused with your mission.
Man, when are you doing another public event? I'd like to come see your act.
But my next one, I don't know when my next one is here in Dallas. I'm traveling a lot, doing a lot of keynotes, but I'll let you know when I'm keynoting in Dallas next.
Yeah, I see you flying all over the place, but never in our backyard. Betsy Allen Manning, thank you very much. If you're looking for public speaker, leadership training for your business, your corporation, Betsy Allen Manning. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Johnny, Stephenville, you're next up on WBAP. What do you think about these wildfires?
So I am a firefighter, and I'll tell you, a lot of these fire departments that you see that are going, they've been called up by the federal government. And the reason why is because they've accepted through the Forest Service a $200,000 to $400,000 fire truck. And they signed a contract with the federal government that said that they would have that truck available and a crew available to man that truck anytime that they call. And so that's what we see happening right now is the Forest Service is calling these people, these fire departments who they've given these trucks, and saying, hey, we need you and your crew to go, and they have to go. We saw it here at the Eastland fires, all over the place. So anytime that a fire breaks out in a state and there's a huge fire that the local resources can't handle and the Forest Service is called in, then they'll activate that, and you'll see hundreds of trucks coming from all over the nation.
So it sounds like the bill for this is going to be borne by the federal taxpayer.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. I don't like that. Why can't we just build California?
I mean, that'd be awesome, right?
Yeah, well, that's my fantasy, apparently. The people that are getting the service should have to be the ones who pay for it, not everybody. But, Johnny, did they send, by they, did California send firefighting assistance to us when we had the outbreak of wildfires in, what was that, 2 years ago, 2023?
I don't remember. I was on the big Eastland fire, but I don't remember if there were any California firefighters there or not. But I know that we had fire teams, strike teams from all over the country out there.
All right. Well, I appreciate your insight. That's some stuff I hadn't heard before. You were a welcome addition to the James Show, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Johnny, is Stephenville too far away to drive in for a meet and greet, James Show meetup? It might be. Yeah, that's like an hour and a half away. Because there were two people from Stephenville that were asking me to do a meetup. I'm like, I'm not going to Stephenville. And they said, can you at least do it in Fort Worth? Okay, so you can drive all the way to Fort Worth, but not Dallas. I understand. But we're doing that January 28th. More details coming up. Do not bring me a gift, but it is going to be the first birthday party and just really a James Show listener meetup. Shaw's Patio, Fort Worth, January 28th. Coming up next, we are going to go back to the media coverage of this, and I'm going to dip into the audio of the day and let you hear the conversation as it's being played out back and forth on these different media platforms about the California wildfires. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Yes, other people from Stephenville. I know there's more of you. You're not the only one, Adrian. There's also Jennifer and the guy who called in the last segment. He was great. We're talking about Texas sending the firefighting crews to California. Should California get the bill to reimburse the Texas taxpayers? I don't think that's fair if the federal government covers the check. I think California should be the one who bears the cost that is somewhat exacerbated by their negligence, their poor leadership. And how are they going to learn their lesson if every time things get out of control over there, their neighbors come in and swoop in and clean it up for them and cover the cost and everything? They have no incentive to do better if we don't stick them with the bill. And I think we should stick them with the bill and like 20% gratuity. That's what we do on parties of 8 or more at the local Tex-Mex restaurant, right? Can we at least treat the taxpayers of Texas as good as the local wait staff at, I don't know, at El Chico or something? El Chico's still a thing, isn't it? Isn't there like one of them left or 4 of them left? What do you think? This is Tamara in Plano. You're on WBAP. What do you think we should do?
I think we ought to take the Green New Deal money and reappropriate it to the fire fund and let that pay for it.
Is it just a slush fund like that? Like, isn't it already going to something? And
I don't know. Well, what are we doing with the Green New Deal? It isn't helping anything right now.
Well, if there's still money unspent, I would prefer we just cancel what was going to be spent and not, have to print those dollars and inflate all our currency in the meantime. But still, if you use Green New Deal money, that is the federal taxpayer. That's me and you paying for it. That's people who didn't do anything wrong.
We're already paying for it. So why use it for that? Because it's not helping the Green New Deal is not being helped by it.
Okay. I mean, I guess that'll make a little, that'll make a little bit of a difference. All right. Good stuff. All right. Thank you, Tamara.
Anyway, thank you.
Appreciate it. See, this is why we do phones. I didn't think of that. Tamara did. It's got to come out of somewhere in the federal budget. Yeah. How many? Oh, yeah. Well, that's 2. That's like a safety. I mean, it's almost a field goal. Yeah, we keep score over here on the James Show. We're not like a forgive and forget type of show over here. We're keeping score. And at the end of this, there's not going to be any participation trophies. I don't even think I'm going to give out a trophy for second place. There's going to be one big winner. And it'll be just like the biblical prophet Ricky Bobby said, if you ain't first, you're last. A couple of comments here that have been streaming in on social media I think you'd be interested in. Michael, he just spells it funny. Michael says, do we have to charge them Texas rates? If California firefighter rates are higher, can we bill them California rates? I like the idea of squeezing these fools for a little bit of money. I like because that incentivizes the next time there is a fire and you have to call for outside help. That has a great push and pull on both sides. It gives the people who are having the problem to not call on other people and draw resources from other taxpayers. And then it also incentivizes the neighbors to send help because not only will you get reimbursed, this could be a profitable endeavor for you. CJ says, the whole situation is sad, but it's also animals, businesses, memories. They are flying animals to different states, and I'd be freaking out where my pet is. Back to football, I cannot see Dion primetime coaching Dak and Lamb. Man, I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it'll work out. Maybe we'll just win 3 more Super Bowls, right? I'm not laughing, I'm crying. Thank you, CJ. Mike says on Facebook, sorry, we're all going to pay for it. California is broke. Check your homeowner's insurance rates over the last few years. Well, those are supposed to be segregated by state. And I don't mean that segregated like in the evil Democrat way. I mean, like there's not supposed to be any overlap in, those actuarial tables. Although they're not really allowed to use actuarial tables anymore, are they? All right. So some audio. I wasn't going to play this because I don't like to do the gotcha moments, but because that's all this is. This is some lady that wanted to catch Gavin Newsom in a gotcha moment. You don't run around hysterical about your daughter's school being burned down, but you have your friend behind you filming, right? This was a setup, but he fell for it, not just in a bad way, in the worst way. He got busted. So this little blonde lady who is in front of what looks like to be a burned out middle school or something, telling Gavin Newsom, I need some help. And Gavin Newsom pretends like he's on a call with President Biden, and she busts him. He's like, I'm on a call right now. She's like, well, let me hear. He's like, oh, well, I can't get through because I don't have cell service. Oh, really? The governor of California can't complete a call to the president of the United States during a natural disaster. Not believable. Anyway, here it is. Him lying to a lady right in front of a burnt school.
Governor, that was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids.
Boy, this guy just lies so smooth. Like, this is just sociopath level lying. He gets out of the car and you can tell he's a little off put by a woman just all of a sudden walking towards him, getting up in his grill. But he notices the camera there, and so he plays the game and just straight up lies to her face. I don't even know if she really has a daughter or if this was a whole setup or if she's even telling the truth. But he doesn't know, and he just, what's his initial instinct? To see a damsel in distress, a mother freaking out in the middle of a wildfire, screaming about her daughter. His first instinct is to what? Lie to her? Lie to her face? Well, that's why I'm on the phone with the president right now. Oh, yeah, let me talk to him. Let me hear it. Oh, well, I mean, it hasn't gotten through. What do you mean? You can't get through to the president? Yeah, it's because it can't get cell service. Just 3 lies right in a row. Just can't stop lying. That's his instinct. You don't have that instinct because you're not a sociopath. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Coming up, we'll talk to Dr. Matt Chalmers, how to keep you healthy around this time of year. Is he a big fan of the flu vaccine? We'll ask him next. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.